Awaken with JP. He started a React channel, which, you know, alpha male, right? And he did one reacting to Malcolm X on white liberal lies. Yeah, I'm sure. I'm sure JP and Malcolm X have a lot in common. He's a freak. He's a conservative commentator, YouTuber. He's like an insane conspiracy theorist. He's bad at what he does. He's bad. He's a moron. And I just can't wait to hear him whitewash Malcolm X. I mean, Martin Luther King has been whitewashed for decades. Let's just keep doing it. Let's just moving on. Malcolm X, he wasn't a socialist. He was actually like a libertarian or something.
What's up, my freedom-loving friend? Welcome to the JP Reacts channel.
He looks like Chuck Norris if he was a recovering heroin addict.
Where you and I get to watch videos together as I react to the lies and corruption of tyrants, absurd woke BS, and highlight the amazing work of other freedom fighters. Today I want to highlight what seems...
JP is the opposite of a freedom fighter. Basically, his main bag, what he does the most and most commonly, is make fun of trans people. And if you don't believe in trans liberation, sorry, you're not a freedom fighter. You're an oppression fighter.
Seems like a very timeless message from the freedom fighter Malcolm X. So in a second, we'll watch a video, which is really just audio playing.
He also thinks that Black Lives Matter is an organization, like a company with a headquarters and a CEO.
From Malcolm X, taken many decades ago, but a friend passed it on to me. I listened to it and I just thought, his perspective seems incredibly illuminary over our world today. How so? Well, just a little context before we get into the video. You know, all the narratives and the propaganda, they're always like calling out racism that they make up. It's race baiting. But as they're doing that and as they're doing their other stuff, oftentimes I'll sit back and say, like, y'all claim to stand, like, to be against racism. I know you're not, but you claim to be. But what you're doing appears to be...
His hair is matted down like a forgotten doll. That is so funny. Also, yes, his cadence is very annoying. He sounds very condescending. And, like, he also doesn't know the difference between a liberal and a leftist. He thinks Nancy Pelosi is a communist and that George Soros controls the world because he's anti-Semitic. Like... God. So he's going to see fucking Malcolm X talk about the white moderate or the white liberal, which MLK did as well. And he's going to be like, yeah, that's just like those blue-haired SJWs on TikTok who are actually the real racists. And I'm not racist. If Malcolm X met this motherfucker, he would shoot him.
Very racist. I look at what the media is doing, what the left is doing. And the left, well, more on the context, the left tries to position themselves to be all about unity. Hey, we're for oppressed people, minorities, people of color.
And I don't want any of that. I'm actually against all of that.
You know, Joe Biden says if you ain't, if you're voting for Trump, you ain't black. Like,
yeah. Joe Biden's racist, man. Big fucking surprise. Like, why would you say Joe Biden is on the left, though?
That seems very racist. The presumptuousness of a very old white man telling black people they're not really black if they...
But if Trump said the same thing, you would be like so into it and you would make fun of people for not liking that. And I know this because he doesn't think Trump is racist despite the whole, like, they're not sending their best thing. Like, he'll defend that. But when Joe Biden's obviously racist, it's like, oh, well, that's fucked up.
They vote for Trump?
You got more questions, but I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, then you ain't black.
And
that's such a funny clip. It's so good. It's so funny.
The media trying to position everybody like, if you vote for Trump, you're a racist.
But you are, though, kind of. Especially in 2020. Like, in the same year that George Floyd is killed, if you're voting for the guy that's like, the cops are beautiful and I love all cops and we need more cops, like, openly. Like, Joe Biden kind of said that, too. Don't get me wrong. And I also think Joe Biden is racist. But if like you're voting for the guy that has that platform, like I kind of don't know what to tell you. Also, the immigrants are all like rapists and drug dealers. Like he said that in 2020 too. He said that like on the debate stage and shit. He was like, the coyotes are coming and they're dropping off the 65-year-old abuelas to work in the chicken factory where all the criminals gather for minimum wage.
If you vote for Biden, you're not racist. And then Biden, by the way, gave the eulogy at the funeral of a KKK leader. I
That's funny.
believe Robert Byrd was the scumbag's name. And
The scumbag. Like, I love how overcorrective he is. The scumbag. It's like, bro, you have more in common than him than you do with fucking me.
during the eulogy, Biden called him a great friend and mentor. And look at Biden's track record back in 2007, how he said Obama. I'm paraphrasing here, but it's also pretty accurate.
The first, like, well put together, clean, well spoken African American. That's what he said about Obama. I know. We know, man. Joe Biden's racist. Malcolm X would not like Joe Biden. I don't like Joe Biden. Like, I don't know what the fucking point he's trying to make is, but I also do because he's stupid and doesn't understand the difference between a liberal and a leftist.
Accurate. Obama is the first black man that's well-spoken and handsome. It's like, bro, you are pretty obviously racist.
And so are you.
Then I look at more context, look at the left's deal on critical race theory, and it's gaslighting.
There it is.
It says it's against racism, but all it does is
It's
promotes
anti-white racism. Yeah.
Teaching people to judge people not based on the content of their character, but to judge people based on the color of their skin.
Man, classic, dude. Let's fucking start quoting MLK. Yeah. I love that. It hurts. It hurts. Sure does. Also, critical race theory is teaching you to judge people based on the color of their skin. No. It's teaching you the context of how the people with different colored skin got here. And what happened to the people that were here before the white people showed up.
And that runs completely
And it's taught in college courses also.
contrary
Biden
to
being racist and Trump being racist are not mutually exclusive. Both can exist at the same time. I can't stand this man.
Yeah.
one of, if not the greatest civil rights leaders in all of our history, Martin Luther King Jr., who said, judge a person based on the content of their character, not the color of their
Thank you for saying it twice.
skin. The exact opposite
How old is this video? It's from like a week ago.
of what the liberals, the left, is saying.
Yeah, man. The real racism is acknowledging race. I just close my eyes and pretend everyone's the same. What color do you think he sees when he closes his eyes and pretends everyone's the same?
Who claims to be against racism, for unity. But I'm like, damn, they seem to be manipulating minorities as though, or they're trying to. Not many are falling for it anymore, but they're treating them so disrespectfully. Like, no, you have to vote for you. Oh, you're black. You got to vote for us because you're an Uncle Tom if you don't. The left, who claims to be the most for racial unity, seems to be the most racist.
Do they, though? It's so interesting, right? Because it's like he's turning a blind eye to how extremely overtly racist both the attitudes and the policies of right-wingers are in America. But he can see the racism of liberals. Of course he can. Like, I could see the racism of liberals, the racism of some leftists even. But it's unavoidable, the racism of conservatives, because the racism of conservatives is the foundation of this country that they consistently defend. You know what I mean? Yeah, also, one of CRT's main components is erasing the colorblindness attitude. Right, exactly. He does also look like a caveman. You're right. Racism isn't real except when liberals do it, which is acknowledging race or being racist against white people, the only real race. Yeah.
With their policies and their propaganda.
He's also, he's not saying it, but he is implying that, like, liberals are racist against the white people, which is impossible because white is not a race.
So that takes us to today. When a friend sent me this video of Malcolm X, his words from decades ago, I don't know what year this was recorded, but it just seems to illuminate what's going on today. Let's have a listen together.
game of power politics here in America, the Negro, namely the race problem, integration, civil rights issue, are all nothing but tools used by the whites who call themselves liberals against another group of whites who call themselves conservatives, either to get into power or to retain power.
So thus far, paraphrasing, he's saying that liberals use the tool of racial unity to gain power.
Yeah, because they're liars. Both Martin Luther King and Malcolm X spoke and wrote extensively about the white moderate or the white liberal, right? The idea of someone who's like, I can tolerate black people, that's fine, but then their actions don't reflect their words. JP's a great example of someone like this. And there's a lot of liberalism in the modern conservative party, just like there's in the majority of liberal idea, there's a lot of conservatism. It's just, it comes from a fundamental political and historical illiteracy. He just doesn't understand. All he understands is that when you talk about race, you're racist.
Liberals use the tool of racial unity to gain power. Doesn't mean they stand for racial unity. My paraphrasing of my interpretation of his words is he's saying they use it as a tool to gain power.
He looks like Homer Simpson, but pink. If you put the fucking bald face app filter on him, yeah, he would look a lot like Homer Simpson.
Among whites here in America, the political teams are no longer divided into Democrats and Republicans. The whites who are now struggling for control of the American political throne are divided into liberal and conservative camps. The white liberals from both parties cross party lines to work together toward the same goal, and white conservatives from both parties do likewise. The white liberal differs from the white conservative only in one way. The liberal is more deceitful, more hypocritical than the conservative.
My God, he's gonna have the worst fucking interpretation of this too, because it's like going back to what I just said. He's saying the liberal will lie to you and will say, I want to help you, and then won't help you, which is still true today. The conservative will just tell you, I want you dead. Because conservatives at the time were telling that to Malcolm X. Like, if Malcolm X hated liberals as much as he does, what the fuck do you think he thought about conservatives, man? But what he's going to say is he's gonna be like, well, you know, he's saying that conservatives are truthful and liberals are liars and racist.
So this, from decades ago, how true is this of today? The white liberal differs from the white conservative in one way.
He's saying they're both racist. He's saying they're both racist.
They're more deceitful. Now, I know there's plenty of whites, scumbags of any color, conservatives, but I think we can all agree there's way more good people on the conservative side of the political spectrum.
Do you think Malcolm X would agree with that one? Do you think that's what he was trying to say?
I don't know if that's what the point he was trying to make. I don't really know.
Than there are on the left. So he's saying what differs with those white politicians is the white liberal is willing to be more deceitful, using race as...
Yeah, because conservatives in the fucking 60s and in the 50s and 60s did not use race. No, they never did. They never did.
It's part of their deception tool.
Both want power, but the white liberal is the one who has perfected the art of posing as the Negro's friend and benefactor. And by winning the friendship and support of the Negro, the white liberal is able to use the Negro as a pawn or a weapon in this political football game that is constantly raging between the white liberals and the white conservatives.
He is so right. He's so fucking right. But he's not saying the conservatives are good. Oh my God. He made that face because he thinks he's being validated. Because he's saying Joe Biden's using race. Joe Biden's using race to get ahead. Which obviously he is. But conservatives at the time and still they're just more honest. And that's exactly what he's saying. Conservatives are just more honest about how much they hate you. Liberals won't tell you how much they hate you, but they still hate you.
A white liberal being deceitful using black people as a pawn in their game of power.
Against the white conservatives who are trying to kill black people. That's what he's saying.
There's not much more that's more disrespectful and racist than using someone as a pawn.
Yeah, there's more. It's more racist to lie than it is to want someone dead. You're right.
For your power.
Uh-huh.
Posing as their friend for no other agenda other than using them as a pawn to supply your power. How much of this do you see today?
The American Negro is nothing but a political football, and the white liberals control this ball through tricks or tokenism, false promises of integration and civil rights. In this game of deceiving and
Like, who are the white liberals compromising with? Because there's a push within and outside the white liberal party against rights for black people, for queer people. Who are they compromising with? The fucking white conservatives. And that's the conclusion JP refuses to make.
using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress, game of power.
Which, by the way, the white liberal using black people as their football, part of that scheme, of course, is trying to paint this narrative that conservatives are racist, which is absolutely using people who are minorities as the football, as the tool. Like, hey, we want to get you against them. So look at them. They're the racist ones. No, don't use your own judgment and critical thinking. Like, we don't respect your ability.
God, dude, just shut the fuck up. It's insane how you can misinterpret something that is so clear.
Do that.
Like, he doesn't understand the historical context. There's no way. I don't think he knows that segregation happened.
We just want to use you. So they're the racists. Just believe us, because we'll shame you and intimidate you into believing that. And look at all the propaganda we control. It's persistent.
In this game of deceiving and using the American Negro, the white liberals have complete cooperation of the Negro civil rights leader, who sell our people out for a few crumbs of token recognition, token gains, token progress.
There you have it. What I believe are very powerful words. Get this, from a black man.
Get this. Yeah, I know you're surprised, JP.
Speaking from the perspective of black people. How many leftist politicians who are old and white?
Oh my God. There's one leftist politician that's old and white. There is 1.5. Ed Markey is the half, and Bernie is the 1. Also, Malcolm X was a leftist. He was literally a fucking socialist, just like Martin Luther King was, who you quoted in this video.
Would be like, no. You need to listen. He's an Uncle Tom. You need to listen to me about what things are like for black people. But you're white. That's so I know better than they do. So listen to me.
Who is saying this? Name one person. Show a clip. Show a clip, asshole. Who? Who's saying it?
I appreciate you watching this video with me. I just...
Shut up.
There's so many people who I talk to who...
No, there's not.
They're
This guy does
black,
not go outside.
they're of a minority.
No shot.
And they have this same perspective. So when I heard this from Malcolm X, I'm just like, this is so timeless. This is so real, and it so represents a lot of people's voices today.
It's insane, dude. I just don't understand, like, how you could misinterpret something. Like I said, like, misinterpreting something so fucking obvious. I've tried to get many woke friends and family to listen to this speech for years. Nope, doesn't work with their victimhood. There are liars, and there are those who discern the lies. Unfortunately, too many are willfully deceived. All right, guys, I love you guys. Have a great time. Thanks for being on stream.